Now, I got a clip or a soundbite of Steve Harvey dissing presidential candidate Kamala Harris to her face. I guess she's not smart enough to answer hardball questions, but I'm going to go ahead and let you hear the soundbite, and then I'll do some commentary or a reaction. Check this out.
DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions. That ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk. Because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because they done done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show, I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote? Well, you think they finna give us some money? No, man, I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there.
This is where you messed up.
I'm sorry. I know I ain't coming back next year.
No, you're not.
Appreciate y'all having me.
So, right to her face. Right to her face, man. Steve Harvey came out the box saying that he's not going to give her a hard question. Now, so what's the difference between an individual that wants to be a Major League Baseball player and they're not going to throw him, a professional pitcher throwing curves and drops, sliders, knuckleballs, fastball, but they basically bring out a tee and let the player swing away. That's basically setting us up to fail. Because now, if she does become president and then the hard questions do come, then we don't even know if she have the ability to react. So he's literally clowning her and dissing her in her face. And when he brought up reparations, we've been asking for 60 years. Okay, there has not been a sitting president in American history, especially on the Democratic side, that has done anything to help, but they have done everything to hurt. Now, and I know, the affirmative actions and the DEI and the selections of certain people, putting people in strategic places, it's nothing but blackface. They're basically selecting black individuals, black males, black females to push their narrative and their agenda. And that's literally exactly what's going on. So if you look at the data, that's what's done. Because they put the Democrats in office to do the dirty work of the country. And that includes Republicans and Democrats. Because in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was signed by a Democrat. What did that do? Changed us from a race to an ethnicity. And pretty much they invested in sex. And now race is still an issue here in America. What did the Democrats do in 1994 with the crime bill? Bill Clinton, who they say, went on Arsenio Hall playing the saxophone, talking about that was the first black president. He was cool and all of that. But with the scandals and the Lewinsky and all of that. But this is the president that pretty much put into law the 94 crime bill, the 3 strikes and you're out. What did that do? Hurt the black community disproportionately. Black people are 6% of this country, but we're literally 40% of the prison population in this country. So you got to think about that. And even when Hillary Clinton was running for president, she said the same thing, like, yeah, we know it hurt. Okay, so now they put Joe Biden in office. Inflation's at an all-time high. Look how they left Afghanistan. Look at the crime. Look at the tearing down of the cities with George Floyd and all of this. And then now they putting Kamala Harris in as president of the United States, at least on the Democratic side as the nominee, which nobody voted for. And now they expect us to support her when she's really going to double down and do what they wouldn't even do, because she's a career prosecutor and Steve Harvey saying you got to play the game, and she's playing the game. So she's going to do what she's told because she has not earned the position. So she literally got to do what the investors and what the shadow government says, because it costs between $300 and $500 million to run a presidential campaign. And then they select the running mate, from the whitest town or the whitest state in the union. You're talking about 77% white in the state of Minnesota. And then that was the same state in where George Floyd, the riot started and all of that, and they didn't call the National Guard and let everything burn down. So now we really got to understand what's going on. So this is why I got to offer you that third party option. And that third party option is Jesus Christ. Because one thing I do agree with Steve Harvey is when he said they do have the analytics to know who they vote for, yada, yada, yada. But they do have those analytics. So if we don't vote and if she does lose, then where does that put us? That makes us look bad. There was a low voter turnout. Trump won, and now we still between a rock and a hard place. But if we show up in droves and vote, not for her or for Trump, but right in that third party candidate, which is trending right now, and that's Jesus Christ, they'll see how many Americans, male, female, educated, college educated, et cetera, that pretty much that went against the two-party system, the duopoly. So now we can actually shuffle in and have conversations with whoever's in office. So just think about it. So whoever wins the presidency, Republican or Democrat, and if we align ourselves up with a third party option, because lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So if we deliver ourselves from evil, whether it's the lesser of the two, but we don't want to deal with it. So now we have a coalition that could go into the White House on Inauguration Day and have a agenda just for black people, because black people have to champion black people, because we're the sacrificial lambs, not only for the country, but more importantly, the party of slavery, and that's the Democratic Party. So we as a people got to figure this thing out. And once we do that and we champion the race, that means we can end racism, because there's only one race on this planet, and that's the human race. Okay, so at the end of the day, all I can say to you is try God, write in his name, and just let the chips fall, because he's not going to win. He's not going to place, but he's sure going to show up on election day. And that will be our victory, because the victory has already been won. With that being said, that's my reaction to Steve Harvey dissing Kamala Harris to her face with these dumbed down questions, which is an indication that she is really not that smart.